DevOps roles in 2026 are staying open 3 times longer than any other IT positions. Not because companies can't find engineers who understand Jenkins or Terraform, but because they can't find engineers who understand what infrastructure would look like when AI is the workload. Hi, I'm Vishaka, a senior solutions architect, and I work across cloud, DevOps, and AI infrastructure. Now, let's jump into the reality. If you're not using AI tools to level up your skills right now, you are getting left behind. In this video, I'll be walking you through an AI DevOps roadmap. Basically, a roadmap that DevOps engineers can pick in order to be AI relevant. I'll start with the shift that's happening in DevOps, the baseline skills you already need, the AI skills you should be building, a quick demo how I use AI in my day-to-day work, and a few projects that can put you into the top 1% of this field. In the end, we'll also cover the career and salary outlook. Let's go. Now, here's the real shift. We are moving from microservices to model services. Now, what's changing? Now, let's start with the tools you already know. Linux, Git, Docker, Kubernetes. They are not going anywhere. But the payload is different now. 5 years ago, you were deploying microservices, small, stateless applications, 100 megabyte containers, managing CPU and memory. Now, you are deploying model services, 50 GB model files, GPU requirement, completely different scaling pattern. Now, here's the core shift. Before, you were deploying code that processes requests faster. Now, you are deploying models to accelerator machines like GPUs, which take some time to load, and there's a dollar amount per hour for it to run, which is expensive. Before, you auto-scaled based on CPU. Now, you auto-scale based on GPU utilization and queue depth. These are the terms you're not familiar now, but we will be going through in our next video. Before, there were canary deployments based on error rates. Now, there are canary deployments, but based on model accuracy. Do you see the shift here? We are running the same operations, but the artifacts have changed completely. Now, here's what people miss. AI just doesn't need data scientists to write models. It needs engineers who can build the factory, that is the infrastructure, where those models live. And that's us, the DevOps engineers. So in this section, we're just building that mental model. Your DevOps skills are still the foundation. You're adding AI on the top. Now, let's jump into what the foundations would look like. The good news here is that most of what you know still applies here. Number one is Linux and terminal. AI workloads runs on Linux, always. Here you are handling massive data sets, hundreds of GBs of training data, 50 GB plus of model weight. All of this happens in the same infrastructure. You SSH into servers, debug why one job is failing, understand different production issues. Even though we have a bunch of AI tools that can help you with this, but unless you understand what you are running, it's not really going to help you. So start with Linux. Our next set of skills are Docker and Kubernetes. Here's where things get interesting. There are different drivers like CUDA drivers for GPUs. There are different Python dependencies, PyTorch, TensorFlow. There is the whole model artifacts like model file, and also different model serving framework like VLLM, TensorRT. Now, these are the things you need to understand at a certain level. Reason being, when you're doing the deployments, these are the components which will help you to troubleshoot issues faster. In my next video, I will be going through the stack in detail. So for now, just know that this exists. Now, coming back, you will still be orchestrating containers using Kubernetes. There will be a lot of scheduling activities because you need to make sure that GPUs are utilized properly. Then there are other capabilities of Kubernetes like auto-scaling, self-healing, resource limits, exposing services. These are mostly the same, but the backend has changed now. You're not deploying regular applications, you're deploying models, and models has different set of dependents. So keep that in mind. Our next component is infrastructure as code and Terraform. Provisioning for AI infrastructure means there's the same compute, but the compute type has changed. You still need storage to store the model files and other model related artifacts. Then you have the networking stack in place with VPCs, subnets, load balancers. So think of it like Terraform code for GPU nodes looks similar to the CPU nodes with some different configuration, but you don't have to start anything from scratch here. Just different instance types and quotas. Our next skill is CI/CD. Your Jenkins, GitHub Action, GitLab CI knowledge. It's still relevant. Just add some model specific step. You have model testing, model versioning, gradual rollout. So bottom line is 70% of what you know still applies here. You are not starting from scratch, so don't be scared. Now let's talk about 30% of the skills you need to add. So within the AI upskilling phase, here's what you need to add. Number one is understanding the data layer. It's non-negotiable. I used to think I'm DevOps, I'm gonna stay away from the data pipelines. But if you want to stay relevant and if you want to upskill in AI infrastructure, you need to familiarize yourself with the data layer. Again, you don't need to be an expert, but know how things work. In DevOps, you manage code repository. In AI DevOps, you also manage data pipelines. So now what this means, you need to understand what ETL pipelines are. This is a 3-step data integration process: extract, transform, load. In simple language, this pipeline pulls some raw data, processes it, cleans it into another structured format, then loads it into a data repository. So this stage is basically doing all the movement and preparation of the data. Then there is feature store. This is the destination where the structured data is stored. And this is the same data that goes into your model for training. Then another database layer is vector databases. These are specialized databases for AI that stores something called embeddings, which are basically the numerical representations of data. It really helps with retrieval process. Now your job doesn't change. You're still working with CI/CD pipeline, but there'll be chances where you'll come across these pipelines, the data pipeline stage, then the model training stage, and then you go into the model deployment phase. Same DevOps principles just applied to the AI system. And here's where things are getting very interesting. You all know we live in the agentic era. What that means that companies are now building AI agents, fully automated systems that monitors infrastructure, detect issues, and at times even fix issues without manual intervention. These agents live inside your cluster, watching metrics, analyzing log, making decisions. And there's also one thing that these agents do. They need context from outside your infrastructure at time. Now, how do you do that? For example, your company created a DevOps agent and it detects a spike in failed requests. Now, you want it to automatically check, is anyone from GitHub or Reddit has reported the same issue right now? Did something break upstream in the last 48 hours? What exactly happened? How will you make these DevOps agents do that job? Where most teams hit a wall, because getting real-time public web data into your agent either means building your own scraping infrastructure, handling CAPTCHAs, IP ban, rate limits, proxy, or not just give that data to your agent at all. This is where companies like Bright Data comes in. Bright Data has a web MCP server. Now, what is MCP server here? It stands for Model Context Protocol, which is now a standard way to connect your AI models to external data sources. So with this MCP server, you can connect your AI agent directly to real-time public web data, search results, Reddit threads, GitHub issues, Stack Overflow post coming 10 minutes ago, all accessible from inside your agent workflow without building any scraping infrastructure. And adding the Bright Data MCP server is very simple. You can just add this to your Claude Code MCP config file or your other AI tools. Now, what's the outcome here? Now, your DevOps agent can correlate any internal incident with live external signal in the same prompt. That's the difference between an agent that knows exactly what's happening inside your cluster and one that understands the full context, what is also happening outside. You can try out Bright Data's MCP server for free. Link is in the description below. Now, skill 2. You need Python proficiency. Now, you need to know Python. To answer the why part of this, because AI tooling is mostly Python. Now, what's the proficiency level needed here for you as DevOps engineer? You need to be able to understand the basics, data types, loop, conditional statements, functions, and modules. I would say do some hacker rank exercises. Again, level 100 to 200 is good enough. You don't need to understand it at an advanced level because you don't need to write ML model, but you need to be able to read the Python code when needed. This is very critical when you're debugging application. AI assisted coding will help, but you still need to understand what's happening with the code. So focus on basic Python syntax. What are virtual environments? What are the different libraries? PyTorch or TensorFlow? High level understanding is good enough. Just remember, you're not becoming a data scientist here. You're just becoming bilingual, Bash and Python. Our skill number 3 is MLOps. That's also model orchestration. This is where you can really shine. MLOps is basically CI/CD for model. Now, what tools you can learn? I would say just look into these tools in order to understand how models are being deployed. Number 1 is MLflow. Think of it like Git plus continuous integration, but for models. You're tracking run, versions, config, and artifacts. So you can reproduce exactly what went into production. It helps you again set up the whole pipeline. Then there is weights and biases. This is the monitoring and observability layer for model, like Prometheus and Grafana, but this is more specific to training run and performance. Then Kserve. This is the deployment layer on Kubernetes. Comes with K. This tool basically helps you deploy models like microservice with auto scaling, routing, and versioning. When you're ramping up with this skill, think of this workflow. Data scientist trains model. Models are pushed to registry. This is done through MLflow. Your CI/CD pipeline picks it up as soon as the model is pushed to the registry. There's some automated test runs, basically accuracy check. Then that model is deployed to staging environment. Same best practices, nothing goes to production direct. Then there's a canary rollout to prod from 10% to 50% to 100%. And then you monitor for model drift. Again, you know CI/CD, this is just model focused. So as long as you understand and can explain this pipeline, you're good. Our last skill here is GPU infrastructure. You need to understand the GPU basics. It's non-negotiable. What are different GPU types? What are the different architectures? What's GPU memory? How is model loaded into GPU memory? Now, there's a very good course offered by NVIDIA. I will be adding it in the link below. Now, you don't need to be a GPU expert, but you need to know enough to pick the right instance type and help understand your team why this GPU type would work for their model deployments. Be able to understand the memory landscape of those GPUs because everything eventually becomes a memory game. And then you have to be very familiar around how you can optimize things. Earlier, you used to optimize costs. Now you have to optimize GPU utilization, which is again equal to optimizing cost. That's the upskill. 4th thing, understand data pipelines, pick up Python, get familiar with MLOps, and then get familiar with GPU base. Now in this world as DevOps who's transitioning into AI engineering, you're bridging the gap between code that runs and code that's production ready. Now let's jump to a live demo. This is basically how I use AI in my day-to-day DevOps tasks. So let's go. I use Claude Code, and if you don't know what Claude Code is, it's basically an application that runs command line interface in your machine with the AI reasoning layer in it. You give it input using the terminal and you get output. Simple. And one thing to note here is Claude Code is an application, but underneath it uses different models like Opus, Sonnet that does the AI thinking for you. So for instance, you can check what are the different files and which are taking more memory in your current system, and it can give you some best practices and also help you achieve it. So let's jump into the terminal. If you have not worked with Claude Code before, there are some installation steps that I've added into our guide below. Make sure you follow it. We go to Claude, it gets open. Yes, I trust this folder. Cool. So number one thing that we are doing here is we are connecting our terminal to a GitHub repository. Now, how we can do it is through MCP. Like we discussed above, MCP is Model Context Protocol. It helps you connect your Claude to real-time tools and data. Think of it like plugins for your AI tool that you're using. So the first thing that I want to do is connect my Claude Code to a GitHub repo. Reason being, I push a lot of code. At times, I just want to check different issues. I want AI's help to fix it. Rather than copy pasting the code into a chatbot, I just want Claude Code to have direct access to it and do things for me. So before I start, let me see what are the MCP servers already connected to my Claude Code. So in order to connect my terminal to my GitHub repo, I need to first give Claude the API access. So I go to github.com, settings, tokens. Here, I've already created a new token. You can do the same. You can do a new token. You can give something like DevOps, agent, Claude, and you can give it all the different permissions you want it to have. Like the main permissions having like repo access, workflow. If you wanted to have write and read package access, you can decide. And once that's done, you can use this command and add your GitHub token here. For now, I'm just giving a random token because I've already configured it. But once you're done, if you do MCP list, you can see GitHub to be connected. This is how you connect your MCP server. Now let's verify if it's connected. We do escape. Let me just ask Claude to show my repos. With searching, it will validate my credentials. And here are my 3 repositories. It also says what's the visibility layer for each of the repos. Discard. So this means Claude can see all my repos and read all the contents from it. Maybe I can do show me all the send, comment, my format, allow, kill, roadmap, repo. Let's see. Yes, all the okay. Okay. I don't even have to go to the GitHub repo now. I can see everything through the terminal. Now, this is one of the steps where you can again run different tasks as a DevOps engineer. You can write your code here. You can fix issues. You can use the Bright Data MCP server to check other GitHub issues as well. Now, let's go to our part 2. Here we are going to connect AWS CLI because as a DevOps engineer, you work with a lot of cloud. So let's see how we can integrate it with our Claude Code. Maybe I start with is my AWS account connected? See, everything is done using natural language. So by default, it'll run the AWS STS get caller identity command is configured and authenticated successfully. If you haven't already, you need to first run AWS configure. It'll basically prompt you to provide your access key ID, secret key, region, and that information will be stored here with Claude. So it can connect directly to your AWS environment. Once that's done, you can run this MCP install command. Since it's already connected for me, you can see the list here at AWS Labs core. So I don't have to do it. But if you are new and you have just recently installed it, you will have to restart Claude after doing this step. Show all the VPC resources, deployed environment. You can also select option 2, but I really wanted to ask me every time whatever it's doing. So what this Claude Code is doing, so you are questioning in natural language and it is creating a CLI command on the backend and then giving you the information in the format you require. Now look at this. Here's the full breakdown. It went to my environment. It checked the region that I have configured, pulled down the VPC resources, the ID, the CIDR, the subnet, the gateway, everything. So it's so easy for me to manage from here. Other thing that I want to share with you guys is about the Claude Code skills. Skills are like giving Claude specialized training. You're not just prompting like show me services. You're teaching Claude how to think. So what, for instance, I am a DevOps engineer and I want to train my Claude with Terraform specific skills. I wanted to write it in a certain way, following the best practices, the security guardrails. So think of skills as a senior architect sitting between you and Claude. So it like shifts the persona from a general engineer to a Terraform pro engineer. Now there are different ways to give Claude a certain set of skills. You can install skills directly via the Anthropic marketplace, but I try to manually do it. So there is this amazing repo by Antin. All you have to do is clone this repository. So do you see if there's anything I did which doesn't run, Claude will take actions according to it. I already had these skills. So the skills are basically installed in a config file within the .claude directory, and I already had this downloaded. So for now, I will just keep it as it is. But if you want to install these skills to your Claude agent, the steps are in the description below. So let's say if Terraform skills is available. Answer is yes. Awesome. So now you can see the Terraform skill is loaded and active. It follows the right practices. It has a modular structure that a DevOps engineer follows. So let's maybe try write a Terraform module. Okay, it will create a new file. It will always ask you which all directories it needs access to. And you see it has already given me a file with all the right variables, and it will keep prompting you what all things you need. So now you see how things have become so easier. So when you customize your AI tool to work according to a certain persona, it becomes so much more efficient. These AI tools are force multipliers. Use them. If you're not using them, you're working twice as hard, which is not needed at this point. All right, back to the roadmap. Now, before we wrap up, here's one project you must build in order to connect the dots as a DevOps engineer. In this project, you're building an end-to-end pipeline to deploy a large language model. There are 5 steps steps detailed in this project. Number one, you will be creating a simple API using Fast API that loads your model and exposes an endpoint. Then you'll package everything with Docker. So you will be writing a Docker file that includes your model, code, and dependencies. This way, you will become familiar to how models are packaged as containers. Then, same steps, you will be pushing this image to the registry. And in the fourth step, you will be creating deployments and services in your favorite Kubernetes cluster. It could be in any of the cloud provider you like. So this will help you run your containerized application at scale. And then the last step, you will also learn how to monitor your deployment. So you build API, containerize, push, deploy, scale, and monitor. Same DevOps workflow, but for ML models. Now, our final and the most important section, career and salary outlook. AI DevOps roles pay more. Comparing to the traditional DevOps, engineers with AI skills in their bag paid significantly more. You can see the difference here. The premium 20 to 40% more for AI focused roles. Why? Supply and demand. Companies need this now, and engineers with these skills are rare. So here's the real opportunity. Being hybrid, cloud plus DevOps plus AI infrastructure. You're not just DevOps engineer, you're not just ML engineer, you are the bridge. You speak both languages. This makes you incredibly valuable and rare. Look for these job titles when you're searching. Alright, recap. There's the main shift, microservices to model services, same tools, different workload. Your foundations are intact, Linux, Git, Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD. You upskill with data layer, Python, model orchestration, GPU basic. Then you build a project and the payoff is good salary. Now, your action step, pick one skill this week and do one project this month. And if this roadmap helped, hit like and subscribe for more cloud, DevOps, and AI infrastructure breakdown. If you need me to dive into certain topics within AI infrastructure, drop it in the comments below. I am working on a new series and those comments would really help me. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.